Now, Ryan Poles, as I was watching the game, final seconds, we're all thinking about culture, things Mikey just mentioned, things Bane just mentioned. And it's funny to me because Ryan Poles bragged about the culture so much this offseason. Look how Ryan Poles looked at the beginning of this year and now. The vibe is just so much different, just how he is getting body language wise. Now, I want to show a clip. I want to show a clip from last week's press conference, which I didn't even realize because I was half dead at that press conference because I was sick. But I want to play a clip from Warren talking about Ryan Poles' job security. But while Warren's talking, also look at Ryan Poles' body language while this is going on. Nikhil wrote that for me.
Make sure we're clear about is Ryan Poles is the general manager of the Chicago Bears, and he will remain the general manager of the Chicago Bears. Ryan is young, he's talented, he's bright, he's hardworking. He has done everything in his power on a daily basis to bring a winner to Chicago. And I'm confident in Ryan. My faith remains strong in Ryan. And as leader of our football operations department and as our general manager, Ryan will serve as the point person on our coach for our upcoming search for a permanent head football coach. Now, we will work in tandem. We will work closely. We will work together on a daily basis to make sure that we bring the best person to the Chicago Bears as our permanent head football.
Now, if you look at that nigga face, he looked like when you would get in trouble as a kid and your mama just got done beating your ass, but she giving you all the good things about what you did. You're a good kid and you're going to get better. You're going to clean that room up. You're going to do your schoolwork. And you're going to get it there. And we ain't going to have this problem no more. That's what Ryan Poles looked like. And to me, just even when he spoke, it's like when you were like the niggas who had trouble reading. Yeah, exactly. Stand down the paper. You stand down the paper that wasn't there at the point. But then when he started reading his actual statement that he did a couple minutes later, he's looking at it like a nigga who don't really know how to read in class. And yeah, we're going to do a good job. And, you know, we have faith in our quarterback. The man is dead inside. Like the confidence got knocked straight up out of Buddy. And so that it's starting to make, I think that is really a 50% chance that he keeps his job. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that came out. And I want to show a tweet from our guy, Adam Johns, friend of the program. He tweeted this early this morning. This came up on his podcast, the Hogan Johns podcast. He says, so I'll add it here. Matt Eberflus had a 5-year contract. Ryan Poles has a 4-year deal. The Bears signed Ryan Pace to an extension before he started his head coach search to end with Matt Nagy. To my knowledge, Poles has not been extended yet. That's an interesting thing to me, and it adds a different element because we all know what these new coaches, especially Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is sending out all the signals and demands on what he wants. Yes, he's sending it to all teams, but I feel like he's really specifically sending it to the Bears. We know about what his interest was in the job last year, and we know it's going to be very particular. I saw some Bears fans out there who were upset about his demands. Like, how dare he? Is the first year. How dare he wants to be in a situation that helps him out when he's in a good situation as it is. I have no problem with those demands. But if you look at every general manager in today's era of the NFL, they want to be every coach, they want to be on the same timeline as a general manager. Nobody wants to be with a lame duck GM. And that's why I think that there's a real chance that Ryan Poles could be fired. I'm putting it 50-50 because one thing that I found, and we said for weeks on the show, what is Kevin Warren's presence? What is he going to do? All those questions got answered to me last Monday that he is in full control of this thing. When Jason Leisure asked him, does Ryan Poles have the final say-so on the coach? And he was like, well, you know, it's a tandem thing. And Adam Hogue doubled down and asked the same question. We didn't get a yes. We didn't get a simple yes. Ryan Poles will have the final say-so. And if you see the way this team is going with the personnel decisions now, because the coach is gone, who's the guy who put the team together? Who's the guy who bragged about the culture? Who's the guy who bragged about the depth? Oh, it's going to be so tough to make this team. Look at all his draft picks. How many of them have actually hit? He did a great job on the Carolina trade that got you DJ Moore and eventually got you Caleb Williams. Bravo. Good on that. But everything else he's got to come accounted for. So if they don't lose, if they don't win another game for the rest of this year and they finish on an 11-game loser streak, he could be out of it. And on top of that, this is not Kevin Warren's guy. Kevin Warren joined the organization a year later, and I truly believe everything's on the table. But also the question I have with Kevin Warren is how much power is George McCaskey giving him? So there's a lot of question marks here that I got on that. Mikey, I'm going to go to you. What do you think about Poles' job security and going around with the demands that you see from Ben Johnson, what Adam Johns tweeted, and just even what Kevin Warren said about Ryan Poles last Monday?
I hope, how do I say this? I hope Kevin Warren I hope he didn't put his foot in his mouth and really make another mistake publicly, PR wise, in saying that Ryan Poles will be back next year. I hope he truly believes that, because if a month later he comes out and for some reason he says we're moving on from Ryan Poles, that makes them look worse. Twice in a 2-month span, it makes them look terrible for sending Matt Eberflus up to do the Zoom press conference when they know they were going to fire him, and then saying and putting it on record with Ryan Poles sitting right next to him, saying that we're going to keep him and I have full faith in him, and then we fire him. But if I was Kevin Warren, I'll be honest with you, I'm running my own little secret background information on these head coaching candidates. I'm looking at what their demands are. I'm reading the tea leaves on what their appetite is for working with Ryan Poles, or if they demand, that their own GM be in, because everybody wants to be, tied at the hip. Everybody wants job security. Listen, I 100% believe when the reports come out that Ben Johnson is interested, but it has to be the right job, has to make sense for multiple reasons. And if not, he is fine being in Detroit. Why wouldn't he be? Probably looking at a perennial playoff team. Obviously, this is going to be the third winning season that the Lions have in a row, record-wise. Second year back-to-back that they'll be in the playoffs. You're looking at a potential 1 seed. Offense is clicking. Jared Goff is there. Amon-Ra is there. Jahmyr Gibbs is there. David Montgomery. He likes his life in Detroit. He's not really pressed to leave. He can easily become the highest paid offensive coordinator. He doesn't need a head coaching job. Yes, for career advancement and to build his own name on his own, I'm sure he would love it, but he doesn't need this job. The Chicago Bears need Ben Johnson. So they have to come correct. And if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm making sure that I do this the right way. Last year we really harped on the fact that we were all in alignment. Flus should have been fired and they should be marrying the new head coach with the new QB. Nothing has changed. If anything, now we should be discussing this offseason, how do we marry, or do we marry the new head coach with his own GM, with Caleb on that playing field? Because you can go ahead and give Ryan Poles an extension. He's got a 4-year deal. This is year 3, so he'll be going into his last year next year. So that'll be year 4. You can give him a 4-year extension, and you can go ahead and sign, Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel to a 4-year deal, 5-year deal, whatever. But if next year is no better than this year, then he's got to go. And now you have a head coach who is like, oh shit, now I got to rebuild with another GM that comes with more roster decisions. It's a mess. I think the argument can honestly be split. I think you appropriately addressed it as 50-50. I think you could give him a 50% job as to why, a 50% reason as to why he should keep his job. I think there's a 50% reason as to why he should lose his job. I think he has, I hate to say this because we gassed him all spring, all summer, and I hate to do it, but I think he has more misses than hits 3 years in. And if you are at the head of, I don't know where Bang stands, and I know you, Scott, you think that they may run into a win here, But I had them being outside of last week. I think we were riding the Thomas Brown, Kool-Aid, drinking a little bit of that too much. But I said that they would only win the Seattle game. Fast forward from when I said that a month ago to now, Seattle's looking like
Seattle on fire.
Seattle's looking like one of the better teams in the
Yeah.
NFC, looking like, they're playing for a division. They're clicking on offense. They're clicking on defense. They have impressive road wins. They've gone on the road and beat the Niners. They've gone on the road and beat the Cardinals. They've gone on the road late and, flown across cross country and beat the Jets. So and it's not like they've been runaways. Yesterday was pretty much of a runaway, but they had to battle back against the Niners. They had to battle back against the Jets, and it takes some resolve with a rookie head coach. So I don't see them getting another win. And if they don't get another win, then what are we looking at? We're looking at ending this season on an 11-game losing streak, having a 9-game losing streak last year, and the only person that has remained since then, since now Flus and his squad is gone, and Justin is gone, and is Ryan Poles. So how can he not be held accountable for that? That falls on him. So it's going to be very interesting. Just look at it, how these head coaches are. These head coaches that come in, they want their own guy. Mike Vrabel had some issues over in Tennessee with the GM. Once the GM went ahead and made that move to trade A.J. Brown to the Eagles and draft Treylon Burks, we see how that is. Treylon Burks' career, for the most part, is done in Tennessee with another injury, and A.J. Brown is, A.J. Brown. So does Ben Johnson want to leave for that? Does Mike Vrabel want to do that? You also have to wonder, what is the pecking order here? Who is Mike Vrabel reporting to? Who has final say on roster decisions? Who is responsible for hiring the assistant coaches and the coordinators? Because if we read through the tea leaves, it sounds like Ryan Poles didn't have that authority last year. He wanted to fire Flus, allegedly, after last season. They told him no. He wanted somebody like Cliff Kingsbury to be the OC. They told him no. Flus decided on Waldron, and Flus had final say-so on who would be the coaches on his staff. If that's the case, then what is Ryan Poles doing? What is he ultimately responsible for here? So I think they have to look very, very deep and very hard into what these prospective coaches want, what the appetite is for working under somebody like Ryan Poles, and having to make a decision from there, because this is the time to get it all right, because I guarantee you Caleb Williams will leave if they botch this next one. There is nothing they can do to keep him. You can franchise him, all of that shit. Listen, he will leave if they continue to fuck this up. And it would be peak Bears to have finally a solution at quarterback, and everything else is that doesn't align.
And what's funny about that? I literally was thinking about that last night, bro. As the game was ended, I forgot what game I was watching. I think it was the Mahomes Herbert Sunday Night Football. I was like, this is a new era of player. This is the NIL era quarterback. I think I said to myself, oh yeah, that's what I said. I said to myself, I was like, look, if Caleb would have known what was going to happen this year, he 100% would have been like, I don't want to go to Chicago. Like, if they'd have known, they had a crystal ball to tell them what's going to happen, those rumors that we heard all early this year would have came true. And you're right, Mikey. If they don't get this right, he'll be here through his rookie deal. Even when they franchise him, he ain't going to go nowhere. But there's not going to be a big second deal if this is just a mess.
No,
He's
they'll
not
trade
going to
him.
allow that.
They'll trade him for a haul. They'll end up just it'll be a Jay Cutler situation.
And I know that kind of thing is very rare in the NFL. Very rare in the NFL. But it can happen. If there's any team it can happen to, it's Chicago Bears. They got 5 years to get this together. Bang, I'm gonna give you the floor. What's your thoughts?
Hey, Nikhil, put that graphic back up. I had to take a phone call. Very important phone call, might I add. But put that graphic back up, that tweet. All right. So when I read this, first of all, just break this down a little bit piece by piece. I read this and I was like, damn, they gave Flus 5, Poles 4. That's wild. I forgot that they did sign Pace to an extension before they got Nagy. And Pose ain't been extended yet. So in reading that from John's tweet, if the Bears lose 11 straight, why are you bringing back Pose? Knowing this. This right here, to me, is somebody telling you what the play is going to be at the end of the season. They're giving you the play before it actually happens. To me, all this says is Ryan Pose is not going to be here. And here's also why I think Pose is not going to be here. Because Mikey, Scott, y'all both said it. If I am a coach that wants a job, there's only 32 of these joints. So somebody going to want a job. But the right person is not going to want a job if this is what they're coming into.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for cleaning up the salary cap. Have a nice day. Same thing that they did to Justin. Hey, man, we love you. We ain't necessarily want to leave you, let you go, but the way that contracts are set up, we're going to have to pay you. Have a nice day. Flus, hey, man, you knew what it was. You got to go. Somebody else is going to have this job. Now, let's just say Ben Johnson. Let's just say it. A hot name that's been out there as far as GMs is Ray Agnew. For those who might not know, Ray Agnew was a former defensive tackle. I remember Ray Agnew when he played for the Patriots and the St. Louis Rams. He also worked for the Rams organization. He was there when Brad Holmes, the GM of Detroit, was there, and he brought him over as the assistant general manager. He brought Agnew over. I don't know about the relationship that Ben Johnson currently has with Ray Agnew. But if Ray Agnew is a potential GM candidate and the head coach, well, the OC is a potential head coach candidate, I could see, and you want him, I could see a world where Ray Agnew and Ben Johnson is a package deal. Long in that package deal, you damage the Detroit Lions because you take a GM and you take their OC away from them. I can see that world. But when I look at that tweet, that just lets me know that somebody said, yo, Pose is really out of here.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good point. And I'll say
and
this
just
too.
looking at that tweet right there. Just look at that top line. How does that make sense? How does that make sense?
Yeah.
That leads to the dysfunction that we talk of at the top that goes above Ryan Pose. And this obviously, this precedes, Kevin Warren. You guys, for those that are watching, I want to remind y'all and refresh y'all on who made this decision and who interviewed these candidates. George McCaskey and Ted Phillips, with the help of paying Bill Polian.
Old ass Bill.
So George McCaskey and Ted Phillips said, hey, we're going to go ahead and sign Ryan Pose to a 4-year deal. And 2 days later, Matt Eberflus gets a 5-year deal with the same agent. How does that make sense? Everybody's incompetent.
And here's the thing, too. Like, you put together a coalition of niggas who was like 30 when Dr. King got shot. Like, what are we doing? Like, and that's the issue I have. And Mikey, I'm with you, bro. Like, I'm with both of y'all. Like, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, and like Mikey says, I need to start actually betting when I make predictions like this. But if I'm leaning right now that he's not coming back. And Mike, you said it correctly. It will look bad. That's why I also think it's going to happen, because the Bears are stupid. It is going to make them look bad. But it just, when Johns puts stuff out there, he's one of the few Bears reporters. When they put some smoke, when there's some smoke out there, there's some fire around. You know, not to say everybody on the Bears beat does a good job. So I'm not saying that some don't know what they're talking about. So everybody on the Bears beat does a good job. But my ears really, really perk up when two people talk. Brad Biggs and Adam Johnson. So,
Yep.
you know, when them two talk, that's when my ears really perk up. So to me, that tells me that if this keeps going, I think the funny thing is, I believe Thomas Brown got Ryan Poles' job in his hand.
Yeah.
This is really going to determine these next 4 games, going to determine whether he's here or not. And if let's say Ben Johnson sits down, right? Because like I said, I think that's their favorite. I think the interest is mutual. Tom Pelissero and Albert Breer keep bringing up about how much Ben Johnson likes it. And even Adam Schefter said, I don't know if it was on McAfee today, he said, if the situation is right. They keep talking about situation. I believe that if Ben Johnson comes to Kevin Warren, like, I love everything here, I love what y'all trying to do, but I need my own GM, so I make sure I'm on the right path. I don't believe that Kevin Warren's going to allow that to be the reason he doesn't get Ben Johnson. That's what I think is going to happen. Mike,
I don't even think it's going to get to that point. Here's the thing. I don't think it's going to get to that point. We've already fired the head coach. Nigga, Black Monday, Poles is gone. If you read that, Poles is gone. He's going to be he's going to have an 11-game losing streak.
Yeah.
There's no way after reading that, Poles is coming back.
If they do, it's insane.
Right. It will be malpractice at this point. And when you look at what his job is, what his former position was, and what's the weakness, it's no way. And here's why I'll push back on the Caleb thing. If this was Justin, if this was Justin, or if this was another, if it was not the number 1 pick in the draft, then I'll feel how y'all feel. Like, it'd be difficult, it'd be hard. There's not one person, I think, in the NFL in front offices that believe that Caleb is going to be a bust. There's not one. Like, you have some GMs like, Justin, I get it. Let's say, for instance, if this was the Rex Grossman era, like, he ain't no starter, fam. We're going to have to clean that shit up. Jay Cutler. Some people's like, oh, no, we get stuff out of him. Other people like, I don't know. There's not a general manager or a head coach in the NFL that don't believe that Caleb is the one.
Right.
I'll go back to the Indianapolis Colts. Jim Moore got his ass up out of there. Tony Dungy came in. Boom. That's what they see here. They see a potential Indianapolis Colts type situation where they come in and they reap the benefits, because then now they get to turn around the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
And I'll do you one sooner.
Don't need to be turned around, really.
And I'll do you one sooner and more recently, Bang. Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan spoke on Caleb Williams this weekend longer than it needed to be, and basically said he's everything that you want in a quarterback. He's playing together, can make all the throws, fantastic, everything. And it wasn't just coach speak. This is, when an offensive mind speaks like that of an offensive player and a quarterback, you listen. 100% they believe in him. And, for me, I have 2 candidates that are 1A and 1B for me, and it's going to be Ben Johnson and it's going to be Mike Vrabel for 2 different reasons. But with Ben Johnson, I think he wants to ensure that everything at home, with the Chicago Bears is right. Because let's be honest, a lot of people on Twitter and, short-sightedness and Bears fans just being purely, moronic. People talk about, Matt Nagy, Ben Johnson. They do not compare. Ben Johnson is running his offense. This is his scheme. This is his shit. Matt Nagy was running Andy Reid shit. Ben Johnson has done, like, when I look at offensive coordinator, first-time offensive coordinator taking the jump to be a first-time head coach, I need success, right? I'm looking at the resume. I can only look at, how is that offense looking, right? Some people just look at it like, oh yeah, I remember that offense. They're putting up a lot of points. Or, oh yeah, they made a deep run. I'm looking deeper than that. I'm looking at, wait, hold up. Amon-Ra was first team all pro wide receiver last year. Ridiculous stats. Look him up. Jared Goff, who, the Los Angeles Rams basically said, we can't win with you after getting, to the Super Bowl. And he had some, gave up on him, and he had some big, statistical seasons with them, but they just said, no, we can't do it. He's turned Jared Goff into one of the most accurate, reliable quarterbacks. Look at what he's doing with David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. Look at what he's doing with guys like Khalif Raymond, with Tim Patrick. That is a guy that, listen, my scheme
getting busy, bro.
Getting busy on my dime, because I be having Amon-Ra for touchdowns and Tim Patrick be going off. But I say that to say this. Sean McVay drafted Jared Goff. Sean McVay got Jared Goff to a certain level. I think Ben Johnson would take on that challenge and wants to say, hey, I got my hands on Caleb Williams from the ground floor, and I want to develop him and have that ascension from ground floor sophomore season quarterback to top 5.
Let me answer M's question real quick.
Well, I just want to say that's what Mikey's point is. Like, yeah, they have good talent, but he's molding them. Like, the Bears have talent. The Bears
I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna go further. Brad Holmes brought in most of that talent.
Yeah.
Who's the assistant general manager? Ray Agnew. Brad Holmes was like, yo, this is what we doing, and basically was like, yo, Rams, give me the shit. Ray Agnew was right there. And Ben Johnson took it, molded it, and made it. That's why I keep saying I would not be surprised if this is some type of package deal. And I might be wrong. Ben Johnson might have another relationship with somebody in another front office somewhere else. He might do. But when you look at the Detroit Lions and the setup, and them knowing what the play looks like, that's helped them. But then also look at the Bears' talent. The Bears suck in the trenches. If you got you a top 5 pick, top 10 pick, you're going to get better in the trenches. You keep that Carolina pick, you're going to get better in the trenches.
What'd you say, Bang? Yeah. What, you got 9, 35, and 40 right now as far as picks?
Yeah, 9, 35, and 40.
You can build it right there. And this thing, and we got to move on to the next 2 topics, but you know what song I'm hearing coming out of 1920 Football Drive right now?
What's that?
Reigns of Castamere. I hear the red wet nigga. That's right. What I hear right now. The McCaskies send their regards. What they gonna tell Ryan?
Kevin Warren is Bruce Bolton right now, and Ryan Poles is old lady Stark. He giving him that look like she gonna pull it up, and he got the sheer right there, the protective guard under the but
the protective bunk suit.
Right.
The protective bunk suit.
So cool. Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news, money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so